So more or less, Arsenal have got the same squad as what they had last season after the transfer window has slammed shut, only seeing the addition of Petr Cech come in. We've also got the newly emerged Francis Coquelin, and it is of course a very exciting team. We can't forget that this is a side that went about 10 games unbeaten with an unchanged starting 11, but this season we haven't quite relived that form at the start of the Premier League campaign. And with the Premier League well underway, I'm going to be asking the question of what exactly is Arsenal's strongest starting 11. In goal, he picks himself. It is of course Petr Cech, our new recruit from Chelsea. The 33-year-old shot stopper has had a rather mixed start to his Arsenal career, putting a fantastic performance in the Community Shield, but didn't really follow that up with his home debut, in which he had a rather haphazard game against West Ham United and was guilty on both of the goals that we conceded. But he lived up to the expectations that we so wanted to see from him in the game against Liverpool, salvaging a point and also putting a convincing performance at Newcastle. Admittedly, didn't have a lot to do, but in goal, it's got to be Petr Cech. At right back, it has to be Hector Bellerin. He's keeping the likes of Matthew Debussy and Callum Chambers out of that right back spot, and he's making it his own, putting some outstanding performances last season and even chipped in with a goal or two against the likes of Aston Villa and in the 4-1 victory against Liverpool. Didn't have the best of debuts away from home against Borussia Dortmund, being thrown in at the deep end in our 2-0 loss there, but he's matured so much from then, and he's even earned himself a call-up to the Spain national team. First centre half, it's got to be Laurent Koscielny. Picks himself in this Arsenal starting 11, similarly to Petr Cech, and I'm hoping that, like he always does, he'll put in some world-class performances this season. Not too much needs to be said about him, but he is of course one of the more senior figures within the team, and he's one of those few players in our squad that you can call world-class. Second centre half, maybe a bit of a surprise, but I am going to go with Gabriel Paulista. I think it's time for this guy to be breaking through into the Arsenal defence alongside someone so astute as Laurent Koscielny. These two could potentially form a long, solidified partnership, and from what we've seen of him in games against Liverpool and Newcastle, he could potentially become a world-class player, and I think it's about time that he starts to dislodge Petr Mertesacker from the Arsenal starting 11. Left back, it is Nacho Monreal, and if he continues in the same fashion that he did last season, then he's going to have no problems whatsoever, quite easily becoming one of my favourite players at Arsenal, putting in wholehearted performances, and even got a goal last campaign at Manchester United in the FA Cup, which proved to be a vital goal in a 2-1 win at Old Trafford. Really looking forward to seeing how he'll play this season. He started the season really well, and I'm actually quite surprised that he hasn't made it into the Spain national team. Central defensive midfield, Francis Coquelin. It simply has to be this guy. He has been superb for Arsenal since last January, coming in as a replacement for the likes of Mikel Arteta and Matthew Flamini, keeping those players out of the squad and is making a real name for himself at Arsenal. He could go down as a potential club legend if he continues to play in the manner that he is, and he's going to be really making a case for getting into the France national team for the Euros next summer. It should be a really exciting season for Coquelin, and he is proving to be a revelation in this Arsenal team and a fortress in front of the defence. Alongside Francis Coquelin, and it may come as a bit of a surprise to you, but I have gone with Aaron Ramsey, and first and foremost, it's a great position to be in this one, because you've got Wilshere, Cazorla and Ramsey all rivaling it out for that one position alongside Coquelin, and those are three extremely talented players. Each one has a case to be getting in that position, and it's just a great position to be in. But overall, Ramsey's the player that I want to be seeing playing in that box-to-box midfield role. I want him to relive the form of a couple of seasons ago, but nonetheless, to have Cazorla and Wilshere rivaling it out for that spot as well, leaves us in a great situation. I'm just hoping that Ramsey is the player that can fill that role and hopefully push on from where he left off. On the right flank is OxladeChamberlain, and it's a huge season for the Ox. He's got to be putting in more world-class performances, getting more goals on the score sheet and being an integral part to this Arsenal team. Got a goal in the Community Shield and has started this season very brightly. It's just a case of remaining injury-free. With the Euros coming up, he's got to be more motivated for that, and with the likes of Danny Welbeck out of the squad, he could potentially make that right flank his. He's going to be rivaled with the likes of Theo Walcott, but it could be a huge season for him, and I'm hoping he lives up to the expectations. In that central attacking midfield role, it's got to be Mesut Ozil, and I'm hoping that this campaign will be the one where he starts to conduct Arsenal and starts to be instrumental to our play. It's a huge season for him, similarly to OxladeChamberlain. He's got to be remaining injury-free, and again, with the Euros coming up for a player of Ozil's stature, he's got to be putting in world-class performances. He's creating chances for Arsenal, chance after chance after chance. If they're converted, then he'll start to become a revolutionised player, and I'm hoping that this is the season where he starts to get more assists and goals under his belt. On the left flank, you all know who I'm going to pick. It's of course Alexis Sanchez, last year's player of the season as voted for by the fans, our top goal scorer, and I do hope that he continues where he left off from last campaign. He's won the Copa America with Chile, and I believe he's only 9 goals away now from becoming Chile's all-time record goal scorer, so it could be a very exciting season for Alexis Sanchez, both at a club level and an international level. He has all the potential, all the ability, all the strength, the pace, the power to become a legend at Arsenal. I do hope that he continues to pick up where he left off from last campaign and best himself at that. Up top, it's going to be the most heavily debated one of the lot, the striking role. I've gone for Olivier Giroud, and the only reason that I've gone for Giroud is because there are no real other options there at the moment. Danny Welbeck's out for a good number of months. Theo Walcott, in my opinion, is a kind of alternative there, but not exactly a robust one. Not someone that you can rely on to put in a shift in a game where you need him to. Walcott isn't a striker, he's a winger in my opinion, and Giroud is the only real out-and-out striker that we've got within the club at the moment. So he's kind of guaranteed a place in the starting 11, which on one hand is worrying, because if he doesn't put in a good performance, then it's kind of almost certain that he's going to play the following game after that, which could have a good effect, but of course could also have a knock-on effect on his confidence, and he might continue to put in a poor array of displays. I do hope that he has a good season for Arsenal. Of course, last season, considering he was out for 3 months, putting some superb performances, he's already got a great goal against Crystal Palace this season, but he needs to be more convincing, really, is what I would say with Giroud. He needs to be getting more goals under his belt. And you do have to say, on a final note for Giroud, given that we only paid £12 million for him, his goals to game ratio is absolutely fantastic. So hopefully he'll have a good season for us. So is that an Arsenal team that could potentially go on to lift the Premier League crown this season? I really hope so, but I guess we'll have to just wait and see. In the meantime, get your comments in below. Let me know what you thought of my Arsenal starting 11, as well as commenting your own Arsenal strongest starting 11. I really want to hear from you on this one. Make sure to like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to FC Game by Game, and as always, thank you for watching.